be cutting down the taxes. Elon Musk, your thoughts on him?
Elon Musk. I don't know. He's become some kind of a guru, the divine guru. This guy, to me, he's PayPal guy, and that's it. Now, yeah, great business transaction, but I think, and he sold it for 1.5 billion to eBay. I think eBay is a far more genial commercial solution than PayPal. Now, how I went from this to becoming some kind of the visionary of the 21st century, I'm not sure. But then again, he's in Trump's government, so it's it's part of the giant buffoonery that all of this is. I don't take it seriously at all. I mean,
he seems to be of a LARP, and we say that with all these. We got into the Bank of England. Obviously, the Rothschilds are a big part of that. Mayor Rothschild and his story, like, it was a 12-year-old and he took over this major bank and he was just so smart and just sent his kids everywhere. And it's just like, if I've learned anything in my life is that, if you know their name, they don't run anything. And, it just seems like all these billionaires that I know, they all seem to have connections to other, all these billionaires seem to be the children of other billionaires. And they seem to be positioned into that. Same thing with Jeff Bezos. This notion that Jeff Bezos was the hardest working guy ever. When his grandpa started, DARPA. So what are your thoughts on the bank? All these billionaires, are they just playing a game? Is any of it real?
Well, a friend of mine sent me. I didn't know this, that Elon Musk's dad was a Canadian guy who was actually involved in monetary reform of the anarchistic sort, and just scratching the surface. I didn't know anything about it, and it's something worth pursuing. About the new rich, it's a very good question. I was surprised 10 years ago, you probably remember, they had this commercial operation. They launched this book by this unknown young French economist about taxing the rich. Forget what it was called, something about capital. And the French guy's name was Piketty, or I forget, something like that. And the book was a bestseller. It was an 800-page economics book, and they made it into a bestseller. They can make bestsellers into anything, because generally, who reads an 800-page economics books? I mean, you'd rather shoot yourself in the head, right? And I know it. I mean, I studied economics, so I know how absolutely tedious it is. And the Economist had a big page about this, and I'm thinking, why are they now targeting the rich? Because generally they say, the rich are, they're the dynamos of the system. A magazine like The Economist would say that it's thanks to the rich that we all get better and so on. Now instead, they push this thing, and even the prescription was kind of just prosaic. It's just like tax them, and it was weird. It seems like the system. It was as if the system was saying that there's all these nouveau riche people coming up, and they are some kind of a nuisance. They're clogging the pipes somehow. They're just there. They don't belong. They made a quick buck. It seemed that way, but I have no way to prove it, and I didn't find anything systematic about it. But going back to your question, yeah, I mean, a lot of them, you realize if you scratch a little bit, their dads and their dads before that, and goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. I see things. Most enlightening things to understand modern society is to look at insect societies, and I'm serious. And I've learned a lot from entomology. I was reading in the last years. I've been reading a lot about bugs and termites and so on. And there is what happens amongst the slave making ants is extraordinary, and it seems like it's a template for what they're trying to do now. Which is very much insectify us, and I think that all this talk of gender erasure, I think, is connected to this, and also the introduction of digital cash, which is like introducing money with a barcode, and using another anarchistic idea, which is that of a social dividend, like free money every month for everybody. But for them, they're going to give us, they've experimented that also with COVID, they're going to give us a check of, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000, and that's it for the rest of life, and see to it that the population is reduced by other means, and grant themselves a social dividend, or however gazillions they want to pay themselves, because I think that they're trying to come to a point where this system that we have now is very inefficient. They don't like handling the public debt, and the issue of unemployment is also, and welfare is particularly annoying to them. And this is why, if you read social biology and all these kinds of things, you start to understand that this gender erasure isn't about any kind of, kitsch thing about transgender and whatnot. It's really about the middle class not knowing what to do with it. It's redundant and it's annoying because it protests too much, and to sterilize it, so to make it work, and because that's what workers and soldiers in the ant heaps and the termitaries do. They are asexuated beings that work nonstop, which is what they want to do. Curtail it dramatically, I think. All the more so as now, genius and talent is not hereditary, so they can recruit a special type of person they need. This is why they have standardized tests, and I saw this when I taught high school. That's what they want. They want stress-resistant, number-crunching people to work in these tech positions, and very fast at doing this, and also people who do not spend much time into understanding where stuff comes from. That guy, the famous CIA psychiatrist Gittinger, called these types regulated. And so that's what they want. The Trump phenomenon comes from this, about the disenfranchised white class. As mostly, there was this bond that, the white middle class would be assured of, a good living in America. Now the empire has changed. They can recruit the talent they need, that particular talent they need, a regulated type, wherever they want. So this is a two-tier system of racial bonding. It's, to answer your question, strictly dynastic at the top. Up there, they don't have issues of LGBTQ and whatnot. Those dynasties reproduce themselves in classic fashion, always the same. It's below. The social engineer has to deal with below, and that's what they are, reshuffling everything. And that's where all these changes, which are portrayed in a certain, fantastical, funny way. It's really about social reengineering this massive excess flesh that they really do not know what to do with.